All right, today we're going to get back into the startup mock drafts, and we're going to get into how this one shook out. Who's going earlier than last year is going to be super interesting. But before we start, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're not going to bore you with a bunch of sponsorships and stuff. We are going to bring you the best Dynasty content. We're going to give it to you straight. We're going to give it to you efficiently, and we're going to help you win your Dynasty leagues. Dynasty season starts now. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get into our mock draft today. So we're doing a ton of mock drafts right now. This was the third one already, and we're doing usually getting through about one a week here. We're picking our best players, and we have 20 Dynasty leagues going through and picking some of our best guys to help us continue to do these mock drafts so we can continue to gather data. And the results are continually interesting. We're putting together all the data in our ADP data, which you can get if you subscribe to the channel and then send an email to thedynastydomain@gmail.com. We'll shoot you that ADP data so you can prepare for your startups. But looking at this startup, so obviously a lot of interesting things in this one. We're going to go through it. We got 13 rounds here. We're not going to break down every single pick, in depth, but we're going to look at high level all this, talk about, whether we like the pick or not, if these guys are going to be able to maintain this, guys that are being drafted too high or too low, etc., including all three of our picks in this draft. So, starting in round one, again, Mahomes and Allen at 1-1 and 1-2, Burrow at the 1-3, and then Herbert at the 1-4, which is totally fair. Lawrence at the 1-5. You will continue to see Trevor Lawrence jump up into the top 5 of these startup drafts, and we've said that in our videos. And
he's earned it.
And he's earned it a lot. Jalen Hurts at the 1-6, also earned it. 1-7, Lamar Jackson. So 7 straight quarterbacks. Jefferson and Chase actually go off here at the 1-8 and 1-9, and then it's Watson, Fields, Murray, and Tua. At this point is when you see A.J. Brown taken. I'm definitely not taking A.J. Brown over Dak Prescott with the way that the QB landscape is. But what do you guys think about that? I'm really curious about this pick.
Yeah, I mean, looking ahead, we have hindsight kind of helping us out here, but this guy takes A.J. Brown here. It was actually JCJ Dynasty. He takes A.J. Brown here, and the bad thing about that is he's not able to even get a decent quarterback wrap around again to him until the 5th round. And even that one was, you'll see later.
Yeah,
but
in Fields and Carr, I mean, it's not the most stable quarterback situations at all.
And that's why we all offseason we're just going to be like shouting at you to take your quarterback in the 1st round, unless all of them are gone and you're taking Justin Jefferson, which is why 1-9 or something like that, which is a good value.
Sure, which is why at the turn I was looking at Kyler, Tua, and Dak Prescott. I literally went into keep trade cut. I said, who are the two that have the most value right now? And while I probably prefer Dak over Tua normally, I took Tua just because of market value. Again, sometimes you got to make decisions on that, but I was not getting out of there without 2 quarterbacks. So Dak did go at the next section there, or the next pick, and then it's Deshaun Watson and Dak Prescott for Goodwin. It's a pretty good quarterback duo. That's exactly what you want. Christian McCaffrey at the 2-4. Again, not probably taking him over Waddle or Lamb.
I was surprised by that
over
pick.
Bijan Robinson.
He went over
really
Bijan, so we're not taking him over Bijan either.
No.
And again, we would take Bijan after Waddle and Lamb probably too.
Didn't you kick the guy who originally made that pick?
No, that was
that was the other mock draft.
Yeah, CMC went the 1st round.
We've had some crazy mock drafters in some of these.
Yeah.
But with CMC, you could probably get him later than this. And again, even just for market value's sake, if you're going to take a running back here, it needs to be Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, Christian McCaffrey's ADP right now is at the 304, so I think it's a little bit of a reach.
So it's an outlier here.
And a 1-round reach in the beginning of a mock draft or any draft is a lot.
Yeah,
it's way too much.
Yeah, with age and miles alone, I'm even taking Jonathan Taylor over CMC, and he went a few picks later. So.
To this guy's credit, he did say he was kind of new to Dynasty and he was interested in our feedback, so we gave it to him. Everybody was kind of in agreement. Bijan did go in the next pick at the 2-5. This is getting close to where I think Bijan, I'm comfortable taking him, so I don't have too many gripes here outside of I'd probably take CD over Bijan straight up right now, and probably Jalen Waddle too. But market value is a real thing. Bijan is being valued so highly, you can't fault anybody for taking him this high at this point. Although we made the argument that you shouldn't be taking him this high as a whole, as the community, but got to play the market. So CD and Waddle go, and those are great picks in the 2nd round. Jonathan Taylor at the 2-8 is a fine value. There's not really any guys here I'd take over Jonathan Taylor. So Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 2-9. This is a guy that's jumped up and finally cementing his spot as an elite Dynasty asset. I think you're going to start seeing Amon-Ra St. Brown jump up this high. What's his ADP in our composite?
Yeah, his ADP is at the 302 right now, and that is up 55 spots since last year. Okay. So Last year he was being picked 81st overall. Right now it's 26th.
And we're going to look for this year's Amon-Ra's in this draft, because there are some.
I like Amon-Ra more at the 302 than I do where he went in this draft, going at the 209. I think the big question that we've all talked about, we had a really successful short about Jameson Williams, him coming back from the ACL injury that he suffered in college in Alabama last season. But I think that's still going to be a really big question mark that Amon-Ra is going to have to answer coming into this next season, is how much is J-Mo going to take away from Amon-Ra, or vice versa?
Yeah.
Will it even affect either of them, or will it help both of them? We'll see. Do you think Amon-Ra is being drafted at a ceiling right now?
At his ceiling, if he's going to the 209, I would say yes.
How much?
Because I don't see him being Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, but this is where he should be going.
But he's a receiver, He's going to maintain this.
He's 23 years old, and he's proving that week in, week out, he can give you that 17 points per game. And DJ Chark has nowhere near the ceiling that Jameson Williams does. But even DJ Chark has been giving good numbers. Probably like 70 yards per game over the last 4 weeks, and Amon-Ra hasn't really taken a hit in his own production. So,
would you have taken Lance instead?
Well, we're talking about the scarcity of quarterbacks. I would have taken Trey Lance there personally.
So, and I think there's two guys here. Nathan and Simon have the next picks. Nathan took Bryce Young here. So Nathan got out here with two quarterbacks, Joe Burrow and Bryce Young. Bryce Young's probably going to be the 101. That's a great pick. And then Simon took Trey Lance. So he had Josh Allen, Trey Lance, again, knocking up two quarterbacks. I think you can make a good argument to take both those guys around.
I'll tell you what, these first two rounds are going to be so interesting to see just how they pan out coming into this next 2023 season, because you've got basically 10 of the 12 picks in the first round, with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase being the two receivers that should be going there, and then the rest are all quarterbacks. And then you kind of saw earlier on in a few of our other mock drafts that around that 1-2 turn, you had the rest of those top 12 quarterbacks going. Yeah. Well, now what you're starting to see that even out a bit, and those top 5 receivers are going, and then really those top 3 running backs. Sure. And I don't think I can hate any of those people for taking those guys, because you are getting the best of the rest of those positions, but you're starting to see this back end, or at least the front end, the people that were going at the 101 through the 104, they're getting an opportunity to get a second quarterback, because those other people on the tail end of the first round and the start of the second round went to those other positions. And I think that could bode well for the people that get those top 6 picks in the first round, tail end of the second.
And that's like, imagine 2 years from now, if Bryce Young pans out and he is, a top 12 dynasty QB in his own right, and Trey Lance does the same thing. You're looking at having 2 solid under 27-year-old, I guess Patrick Mahomes is already like 27, but you're having 2 really young, solid QBs, 2 years out from your startup, which is just incredible compared to some of those guys in the middle who might be stuck with, one quarterback and then a question mark, and they're having to throw in, the Daniel Jones of 2026.
Yeah, there's some really good upside / ceiling picks that you're getting on that tail end of the second round. More of the proven assets on the front end there. So
and real quick to prove that point, let's look at the guys that didn't get out of the first 2 rounds with 2 quarterbacks. Let's look at who their quarterbacks ended up being. So you have one with Justin Fields and Derek Carr. Oof. You have one with Kirk Cousins, Kenny Pickett, and Mac Jones. Cousins probably solid. The rest of those, you are scared. One with Russell Wilson.
Honestly, I don't mind that. I kind of like that more than Justin Fields and Derek Carr.
I do too. I agree with you.
I would take the one with Fields, but just because
it's Fields. Yes, but honestly, I feel like there's a little bit more security in that, because
I feel security in Cousins. Yeah. I don't feel that much security in Pickett. I'm surprised you feel secure with Pickett.
I've liked what I've seen out of Pickett. I know I'm in the minority, but
I would be with you there on Pickett.
Look at that. Small hands Pickett.
High floor.
The next, Russell Wilson and Tom Brady. Okay.
Oh,
Lamar Jackson and Daniel Jones.
Ugh.
Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers, and Zach Wilson. Trevor Lawrence, and didn't even take another quarterback. So he would have been stuck. The last quarterback taken was Desmond Ridder. Jarkowski wouldn't have even had another quarterback. That is risky bisky.
He could get Brock Purdy later.
Justin Herbert and Jared Goff. Goff's not bad. That's a decent pick. And then Patrick.
Wait, hang on. So the guy who had Lamar Jackson had Lamar Jackson and C.J. Stroud, actually. So
was that C.J. Stroud that got picked at the 4-7?
Yep.
How did he follow the 4-7?
Because there was not a single rookie taken in the third round.
Yeah.
No, but at the 4-2 and the 4-4, there are rookie picks before then.
Wow.
Now, who ended up taking Levis and AR? Simon, you had the most picks. Did you get those guys?
I don't know.
So that might be a quarterback actually there. But besides the point, you see, in the last one in Mahomes with Stafford and Geno, which is actually pretty good. If you're not getting the two quarterbacks in the first round, it's not looking super good. Saquon at the 212, there are a couple guys here I'd take over Saquon. Mark Andrews is a guy who's probably going to keep his ADP at, the level that it's at for the next 7 years. So I definitely, and Saquon's only pretty much going to decrease, I think. So as much as I like Saquon, I think I'm taking Mark Andrews, maybe Tyreek Hill, Kyle Pitts, probably Garrett Wilson for sure. Even DK Metcalf. And you could make an argument for Breece Hall, too, if you believe in Breece Hall's ability to bounce back from injury. He's younger, and he's also a very good prospect. So a little bit of a reach there for Saquon, but not anything egregious. So then I took Andrews at the 3-1. If you're getting Mark Andrews at the 3-1, it's nothing I did. He just fell to me. Like, that's a smash. Like, you're talking about. So we consider him the tight end 1 in Dynasty. I mean, it's pretty darn good.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, even if you look at those top 3 picks, you have Kyler Murray, Tua, and Mark Andrews. So you have 3 elite players at the most scarce positions in fantasy football.
Yeah.
And that's a lock for 10 years in my eyes.
Absolutely, yeah. Stephon Diggs at the 302, great pick. You got the old receivers, Diggs, Adams, and Hill going right here. And then Kyle Pitts at the 3-5. This is a pretty good value for Kyle Pitts. You know what he's capable of. You saw it his rookie season. He's going to slide naturally because he did absolutely nothing this year. But he is a guy that actually, at this rate, could increase his ADP by next year. I mean, if he comes out and he turns into that elite fantasy tight end we thought he was going to be, he'll be drafted.
Yep.
Early second round again.
I'm really liking where he's going right now.
Yeah.
We always had a problem with him being drafted at a ceiling, and we were right. We were so right, and now this is great.
I mean, and it was needed. And I wouldn't say last year his ADP was at the 201. He was 13th overall in his ADP. And I wouldn't necessarily say that is his ceiling because we've seen Mark Andrews go in the middle of the second round as a 27-year-old elite tight end. The idea with Kyle Pitts is that he could be a 24-year-old tight end producing at that elite level. So he would, if he was producing at, 16, 17 points per game, he would deserve to go in the middle of the first round.
Absolutely.
But
he's hold his value well.
He's fallen. We'll put it on the screen. He's fallen from 13th to 27th over this last year. So it was deserved. So
yeah, absolutely. Garrett Wilson at 3-6. He's not hit his ceiling yet. This is a great pick. I like him. Yeah. I like Higgins here. Higgins is going to maintain his ADP, if not somehow increase it, because he's tied to Joe Burrow. You have these wide receivers tied to these rare elite quarterbacks are also just as good to own as the elite quarterbacks themselves. Good pick with T. Higgins. Breece Hall at the 3-8. Again, that is a great value on Breece Hall. I do think, coming back from injury, Breece Hall is going to be okay. Obviously, ACLs are not the worst injury you can have, but they're also nothing to shy away from in running backs. I mean, you've seen, J.K. Dobbins kind of take a while to get back. We'll see Javonte Williams, I think, kind of take a while to get back. So it's going to be probably a process with Breece Hall. But at the 3-8, you've got a quarterback, an elite quarterback. You've got Jonathan Taylor. So did he need Breece Hall? No, but you're getting a good value here. So DK at the 3-9, great pick here. Chris Olave at the 3-10. Again, this is a guy that he has not hit his ceiling yet. I don't know how Chris Olave is going this late in startups. I don't know how he's slipping to dang near the 4th round. Look at what he's doing. Look at what he did as a rookie. He's not going to lose value. If anything, he's going to go up.
The tail end of the 3rd round here, going from Kyle Pitts on, you're getting so many good, solid value picks here where they could easily next season be going over guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's going a full round ahead of them.
That is very true.
And they're straight up more talented coming out of college, and they've shown what they can do in their rookie season. They've produced at a high level, higher than expected as a rookie receiver, and with the exception of London, maybe. But he was a first receiver off the board in the NFL, so I'm not really concerned there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All these picks look really,
and
really
in
great.
London, again, we've talked about this with London all year. He could get a brand new stinking quarterback next year. And all of a sudden it changes. I mean, even London, as of recent, even when they changed to Desmond Ridder, you saw him start getting targeted at a higher rate. You've seen what he can do. I mean, he was fantastic in last week's game. From a route running ability, from a yak ability. I mean, he just was doing everything that we saw that he could do coming out of college, and why the Atlanta Falcons drafted this guy.
And both of these guys, and we said it last year, there can only be 12 wide receiver ones. So,
but there's an unlimited amount of wide receiver twos.
But these guys are both guys in my mind, who have wide receiver 1 potential in their outcome, easily in their range of outcomes.
I mean,
they would absolutely deserve to go in the second round of startups last year.
Yeah.
Next year.
I would say there's about 36 to 42 wide receivers in the NFL that have wide receiver 1 upside. And again, only about 12 of them end up being wide receiver
like
ones.
25, but
yeah, I'd lower that number a little bit, but I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like there's
which ones actually end up doing it.
and injury plays a factor in that too,
and so that's why you got to snatch up these ones that are
London and Olave are like 22
21,
or 21
23 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is Olave already 23?
Yeah.
I thought he was 22.
Yeah,
so
he stayed 4 years at Ohio
21
State.
and 23, and I mean, they're already producing. Look at Olave already producing. It's 2 great picks here. And obviously one was by you. And they both were by you. You guys, I'm so proud of both of you. You guys just are picking all the values and the wide receivers. I love it.
Thanks, Dad.
I'm glad none of them are making back to me. Don't ever call me that again. At the 312 is Kenneth Walker. I think this is fine value.
I liked it.
Eckler here. Now, to walk out of the first 4 rounds here at the turn with Mahomes, Barkley, Walker, and Eckler, and then McLaurin is your wide receiver 1, and then eventually Gabe Davis and Cortland Sutton as your other 2 wide receivers, that's setting up for a big old yikes here in about 3 years when you're looking at value.
Yeah, big old contending team with a lot of points that you're looking at next
lots
year.
Lots of firepower.
But
better win it this year.
Boy.
Better win it this year.
If you're not winning it this year, you're looking like you're screwed for the
Eckler
next
at the
5
4-1's
years.
a good value, I think, though. So
Yeah,
actually, Barkley was the only pick there that I didn't like. I understood that you have to take the value there at the 312 and the 4-1 with Kenneth Walker and Eckler. I don't think they'd gone that late in any other draft. Maybe Eckler had gone a little bit later before. But
they're both at about ADP there. I can throw those up on screen.
Okay.
But I do think if you're looking at values in the draft, he did pass up some better values like we'll see in 2 picks with Travis Kelce, who's going about 2 rounds later.
Yeah,
than he
I wouldn't
could.
have even had a problem. I think he could have taken JSN there or the 104.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, no, the 103 hadn't even gone
Stroud
yet.
was on the board and he didn't take him, which is I think you got to take. I think you got to easily take Stroud over these guys. But so, anyways, it comes back to Simon at the 4-2, and he does take CJ Stroud there. So that's where Stroud went. He's with Lance and Allen. You got quarterback locked down. That's a smart man over there. Nathan took Travis Kelce at the 4-3, talking about somebody who's outscoring the tight end 2 in Dynasty by a crap ton of points.
Yeah, and he was by far and away the oldest guy that I took in this entire draft, but I don't really care. It's Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
The age thing is overrated in Dynasty for sure. And then the 104, Soup here took JSN. I think this is very, very good pick as well. I think this is a guy who's going to come in and have wide receiver 1 upside for a team. I think it's, JSN, obviously he's going to be faded a little bit because he didn't play this year, but should he be? I think there's a really good argument to be made that he shouldn't be shorted as much as he is. And in the 4th round, you absolutely have room for him to grow into his value. So good pick there. Chris Godwin at the 4-5. We love this pick. Chris Godwin is amazing. He is consistent. He is elite. He produces. And obviously, it was a bummer when he tore his ACL. He looks good again. He looks so good. And
just straight dominant.
Don't be worried about Brady not being there. Chris Godwin will produce because Chris Godwin always produces. Good pick.
Always.
Cooper Kupp at the 4-6. Now, it is interesting that Godwin went ahead of Kupp here. I'm not sure I would do that. Kupp is a great value at the 4-6.
That's recency bias because he's hurt. It really is.
Kupp, Stafford will be back next year. Hope I don't miss on that.
Unless he retires out of nowhere.
Kupp will be back next year. They're both on big contracts. Expect them to come back and kind of rekindle their duo there. When they did play this year, Kupp was getting a lot of volume and he was scoring a lot of points. So no reason to be concerned there. Jahmyr Gibbs went at the 105, which is at the 4-7 here. Fairly decent pick. You have a team that's looking at Lamar Jackson, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, I think I like where that's going.
Yeah, and go ahead and check out our video on Jahmyr Gibbs that we did this week as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Russ and Kirk Cousins, and then Devonta Smith in the 4th. We tried to tell you with Devonta. Michael Pittman at the 4-11 is really interesting. I don't think, and I know he wasn't very happy with this pick, but I think this is a little bit high for Pittman. He's been going more late 5th, right?
Late
Simon?
5th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his ADP is 506 right now.
Okay, so mid late 5th. And then at the turn, I took ETN, and then I took Quentin Johnston at the 106 at the 5-1.
I mean, ETN right here is a smash for me.
I think so, too.
Is this recency bias because he's kind of produced less in the latter half of the season here? Or
I think so.
Like, what's not to like about him? He has a receiving upside. That's his strength. Guys, he literally broke 1,000 rushing yards, and he is a PPR back.
Yeah. And he's tied to Trevor Lawrence.
Threat.
Look at what Trevor Lawrence is doing for Evan Ingram. Look at what he's doing for Zay Jones. Look at what he's doing for Christian Kirk. Travis Etienne will benefit from the elite play of Trevor Lawrence, and we're going to see that as he starts to get his footing with that offense, as he starts to produce more. There's very little risk here with Travis Etienne at the 4.12, and then obviously Quentin Johnson at the 5.1. Just the second rookie wide receiver off the board, another guy I picked because I think he has some room to grow into his upside. A little bit riskier, I think, than JSN, but again, rookie wide receivers tend to do well in terms of holding their value their first year, no matter what. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And looking back at the 3rd and 4th round here, I think this is a contender's dream. This area, I mean, not that long ago, you were seeing Kupp go way higher than this. You were seeing. Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs. Actually, they've maintained their value pretty well. But I mean, these are guys that a lot of these people that are going to want to stay young are going to avoid, and you can go and you can grab that ship with Tyreek, Diggs, Kupp, etc. I mean, Eckler.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really nice. So
yeah,
a lot of value here.
Derek Carr at the 5.2, Christian Watson at the 5.3. I'm starting to like Watson more and more. I think this is going to be an appropriate place for him to go.
Yeah, I agree.
So 5th round, again, a guy that can keep going up. And if Aaron Rodgers stays, you're looking at a pretty good situation.
Yeah, I'm glad people are staying relatively conservative with Watson, realizing that he doesn't have the talent level that Olave, London, and Wilson do, and he's been producing at a ridiculous level the last month and a half.
I think he's fairly. I mean, I think,
not that he's not talented.
No, I know.
He went early. Was he the first off the board in the 2nd round?
Something like that. Yeah, they traded up to get him. I think he was the 34th pick or something.
34th? Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like they did trade up to get him. Wasn't he the first pick of day 2 or something?
I don't know. Anyway, he early 2nd round. He's got good draft capital. He's starting to put it together.
With him going a round and a half later than these other rookie receivers, do you think he has the best value?
I think it's still
Pickens?
I'm starting to think it's possible that Watson does, because Watson is starting to look like a guy that's going to get that amount of targets that I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, I may start.
Yeah, the more I watch him, the more I like him. T.J. Hockenson at the 5.4, the tight end 2 this year. The tight end 2.
How old is he right now?
Last time I checked, he was pretty freaking young.
He's 26.
He's 25.
Oh, my
Not
word.
even 26 yet. I mean, look at Travis Kelce's playing, and he's going to be playing until he's 30. And you're talking about 10 years probably with T.J. Hockenson. And you know what his ceiling is. He has 2 games this year, 45 points in tight end premium PPR leagues, just 1.5 points.
And we're looking at Adam Thielen aging out of that offense. KJ Osborne is every other week emerging. Right?
Yeah.
But with T.J. Hockenson and Justin Jefferson in a pass-heavy offense, I mean, he is looking like a beast in tight end premium leagues.
It really is. Yeah, it's a great point.
And I think that in the mid-5th in a tight end premium league is incredible value.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I like that stack too. That was smart getting the Cousins and the Hockenson stack. I know we aren't the biggest fans of stacks. We don't really think they add that much, but in
double the points for the touchdown.
And it's tight end premium. So go for it.
Najee at the 5.5. This is appropriate for Najee. It's a good place for him. You're probably not putting a ton of risk into this pick, so that's a good pick too. Yep. And then Jordan Addison at the 5.6 here with the rookie pick 107. Rookie wide receivers, they're going to hold their value at the very least. It's a great pick. Javonte at the 5.7. This is a good price for Javonte. He's obviously got some risk associated with him with the ACL, but I mean, it's a smash here. Treylon Burks is an absolute smash at the 5.8. We love where Treylon Burks has been going, as a matter of fact. I mean, just the amount of upside that he offers and the amount he's been shorted for just unnecessary reasons makes him a very, very high-level buy.
He may be the only guy that has better value than Christian Watson does.
And
I think I agree.
In talking about how good rookie wide receivers are at maintaining value, has Treylon Burks exceeded expectations in any way this year?
No.
And he's still moved up 10 spots in ADP since last year. Can you believe that?
I'm telling you,
buy rookie wide receivers. Please.
They're the best. They're like the most stable assets in Dynasty. They almost never, ever, ever, ever lose value. Debo Samuel at the 5.9. Wow. Again, Debo, lower ADP this year.
Fallen far.
We'll see. Marquise Brown at the 5.10. This is a great pick here.
Love it.
Yeah, we know you like your own pick. Look at Dallas Goedert at the 5.11. I like this pick even more, actually. You're getting
I did like that pick
tight end premium
man.
League. Like, Dallas Goedert's the real deal. He's playing with an elite quarterback in Jalen Hurts. Yes, I said Jalen Hurts is an elite quarterback. Yes, we said last year he wasn't. Yes, we're sorry we said that. Dallas Goedert, again, he has continued to impress us, and I think that he's a great pick anywhere. Getting him at the end of the 5th round is a really good value. So, And then at the turn, Terry McLaurin, ahead of Javonte and Pickens and Judy and even Ayuk. I think not, but Terry's been fairly solid this year. He's the wide receiver 16 in PPR leagues, so I don't love his situation. I'm looking at even Jerry Jeudy is at least tied to a quarterback that's on contract.
I'm sorry, this is just classic Terry. Look, Terry's had a really good season. He looks so good on the field all the time. He is such a good NFL wide receiver. He is such a good asset for any team in the NFL. If you look at his game log, if you look at his final stats, man, they are identical to every other year he's been in the league. You know what you're getting from him. Why do you keep hoping for more?
Yeah, I would take somebody with more upside here, I think, especially having drafted running back heavy in the earlier rounds. So, and then at the 6-1, Joe Mixon, this is a really, really good value here. I really like this pick. Again, I think this is a prime example of why when you went Kenneth Walker at the 3-12 and Austin Eckler at the 4-1, you could have went with somebody that's going to hold their value or increase their value, and then gotten that elite production running back later in the 6th round or more. So that's currently what you're seeing. I mean, you can pick up some of these value guys earlier, and then those late round running backs, Dalvin Cook in the 8th, Aaron Jones in the 8th. Ramondre Stevenson in the 7th, who's produced a lot this year.
David Montgomery in the 12th.
Derrick Henry in the 8th, yeah. David Montgomery in the 12th. Miles Sanders in the 11th if he keeps his job.
James Conner in the 11th.
Zeke and Fournette in the 12th.
Yeah, barely even getting drafted. So
Dobbins in the 7th.
Yeah. So, again, running backs, but this is a good pick here. You got Williams here, Jameson Williams, I think, he's flashed, obviously, in one play, but look... Did he go up in ADP value?
Let me check 1 second.
I mean, he has literally done nothing. But he's 21, and he was one of the best wide receiver prospects in that class.
Has Jameson Williams exceeded expectations this year, guys?
No.
He's moved up 29 spots in ADP.
You can draft a rookie wide receiver, and they could quit football, and their ADP would go up. No joke. Like
Henry Ruggs.
What's Henry? No, I'm kidding. So again, George Pickens at the 6'3". His ADP went up. I mean, it's a good pick here. He can go up even more. It's a good upside pick. He's shown flashes in Pittsburgh. Jerry Jeudy at the 6'4" is starting to finally turn it on. George Kittle at the 6'5". What a value in tight end premium leagues. You're starting to see George Kittle, although he's failed to show an elite level of consistency, you've pretty much just seen if Jimmy G's playing, George Kittle's probably not doing super well. If Brock Purdy's playing, or even Trey Lance, George Kittle's probably doing a little bit better than that. So good value there in a tight end premium league. DeAndre Swift is 6'6". This is where Swifty should go. I mean, I could argue later if he's not going to get any freaking snaps at all. So ridiculous.
He's still so young, though. He's not even 24
That's true. And he's
yet.
really, the Lions. Oh, it's such a horrible spot.
I know. I mean, if he ends up in a better spot, better team later, once his second contract comes around.
Yeah, because that's going to make him less injury prone. Second contract and
right.
more wear and tear.
Prone.
So Brandon Ayuk is a wide receiver 2. He's the wide receiver 20 in PPR leagues, and you're getting him. He's 24 years old, and you're getting him here in the 6th round. Really, really good pick in my opinion.
Yeah, it's nice.
DJ Moore at the 6'8", Christian Kirk at the 6'9". DJ Moore, and he's a guy that when I think of, I think you know what you're going to get with DJ Moore. I mean, the thing with DJ Moore, you could give him a nickname, wait until he gets a quarterback. Well, we've been waiting a while, and
guys, the Panthers are going to go another year without getting an elite quarterback because they literally might make the playoffs.
Yeah, okay, shut up.
They might. It's true.
So we have a nickname for these wide receivers who are just in a bad quarterback situation, and it's talent, and we just kind of call them the Terrys, in honor of Terry McLaurin. And DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin are the biggest example of Terrys you will ever find because they've been in the league for 5 years and people keep drafting them as wide receiver 1s, and it's finally stopping. But they were being high end wide receiver 2s and everything, and it's because they're going to do it this next year, and they're not, and they're not, and they're not. And finally, DJ Moore has actually dropped in ADP.
Hey, you know who is a real big Terry and who was last year too?
Michael Pittman.
Terry.
Pittman is a good example.
I think Michael Pittman's Terry.
Michael Pittman's a high-end wide receiver too, so I don't
is a huge Terry.
Who?
Gabe Davis.
Oh no, I don't even think he fits in that category.
He doesn't.
Because
he's not.
Because he's not even a wide receiver too.
Yeah. No,
he's a worse Terry.
He's a Gabe Davis.
Yeah, he's a Gabe Davis. Christian Kirk at the 6'9", though, nice. I like I like where Christian Kirk is being drafted. I love the value. He's got a huge contract. He is a wide receiver 2 barely. He is the wide receiver 14. He's tied to Trevor Lawrence on a big contract. There's nothing to dislike about taking Christian Kirk, even as high as the 5th round, and people are getting him in the 6th and 7th round.
Yeah, and this is going to be another one of those really good value picks that you're going to get in terms of pretty much guaranteed production with Lawrence, because Calvin Ridley is going to be he's in Jacksonville now, and people are scared of what he's going to do. So I wouldn't worry about Kirk's production.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs at 6'10", league-winning running back in the late 6th. Okay, yeah. I mean, look at where you can get these running backs. Dead serious. Freiermuth at 6'11". Okay, yeah, not a bad pick. I mean, pretty good. Amari Cooper at the turn, and then Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, I was as down on Ramondre as anybody, and for him to come out and be an RB1 this year, he's only 24 years old. It looks like they've given him dedicated passing downs and things like that. He's gotten the volume to produce, and he has done it. As long as New England, doesn't draft 3, they drafted 3 running backs this year, and he's still produced at this level. With him being 24, I'm okay taking him in the 7th round here. And as Amari Cooper's obviously tied to Deshaun, and he's Amari Cooper. So Nick Chubb in the 7th, again, getting these running backs. You got Mike Williams, great value there, tied to Justin Herbert. Kenny Pickett here in the 7th, and finally getting into the second wave of quarterbacks here, starting with Kenny Pickett and then Aaron Rodgers and then Matt Stafford in this round. So, and then the picks here, they got 2 rookie picks back to back.
Kriegs did get Levis, so he has Russ and then he has Levis and then Brady.
Yeah,
and
so that's
AR going.
That's
right
a pretty good pick. Levis is a good pick. AR risky, but again, this is an upside pick. Again, I think this is not this stuff will all drastically change once the draft comes. Oh, yeah, it will. Aaron Rodgers at the 7-7. You better hope he plays more than a couple more games. Dotson at the 7-8, another rookie wide receiver. What was Dotson's ADP? I'm curious.
Hey, guys, did Jahan Dotson exceed expectations this year? Yeah, he moved up.
I mean, when he played, he did.
Actually, he probably did.
He really did.
But he still moved up 2 rounds in ADP, 22 and a half spots. So he moved up from the quick math, 9th round, so 111th overall to 88th. So still a sizable jump. And
I kind of understood why Dotson was going so low, but again, you got to let draft capital speak for the value of a receiver, and we should not have let him fall that low. We should have been buying Dotson, because even though he's in a terrible offensive situation with terrible quarterbacks and playing behind Terry, who can't ever be a wide receiver 1, he's still produced at a pretty high level, at least at the start of the season,
honestly,
for a rookie
he's
receiver.
matched Terry's production
Do you think he could surpass Terry? Eventually?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure to speak on that, but I still think Jahan Dotson right now, with an ADP of 88.5 is a really good value.
I think so too. I'm not sure how confident I am in Jahan Dotson to be like a wide receiver 1. So that kind of scares me. I think after you buy into the rookie wide receivers, they're going to go up in value or hold their value, and then you can think about maybe getting off, because there's no guarantee that they're going to hold their value through the second year, although they normally do. Jahan Dotson's a guy that there are a lot of guys I like more than Jahan Dotson, so I could see why somebody would be like, yeah, I'm ready to move Jahan Dotson at this point.
Jahan Dotson was my 2022 darling.
Well, yeah, we know.
I loved him.
Before that, he had Elijah Moore, so shut up.
Yep. All right, Deontay Johnson at the 7.
No, and then I traded him.
Shut up. Deontay Johnson at the 7-9. He is getting a lot of targets. He can't score any touchdowns. I mean, it's a good. I think it's a fine pick.
Pickens better.
Yeah, probably. Dobbins at the 7-10. Good value. He's starting to see him flash again. And then at the 7-11, you took a pick and you took Sean Tucker, a guy that we really, really like, probably the RB3 in the class for us for sure at this point. Depending on where the draft capital lays, he could be as high as our RB2. So, and then at the turn, you have 2 quarterbacks, Matt Stafford and Geno Smith. At the 7-12 and the 8-1, I love these picks here. I mean, these are great value picks. These are still quarterbacks. Geno Smith, who's probably going to continue to play in Seattle, I would guess. I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback. It was not their issue. And then Matt Stafford, who's under contract, who broke his, I don't care that you broke your elbow, but he had the elbow issue or whatever, and now everybody's like, I hate him. He's done.
Matt Stafford is a year removed from being from being QB5. So why is he going in the 8th round?
Yeah, I mean, those are 2.
You got him in the 10th somewhere else.
Yeah, I got him in a 10th in a real money startup just a week ago.
That is insane. And again, quarterbacks, they're great picks. Getting quarterbacks in the 7th and 8th round, starting quarterbacks, wow. Especially one under a big contract. And then, Simon, you took another pick here, and you took Zach Evans, I think. And, again, rookie running backs, you're talking about rookies, they're good investments. This is a late 23 first at this point. It's pretty good value here. Rashad White at the 8-3, a guy that we're probably going to be able to move off of for a 24 first sometime next year, if I had to guess. He's going to go up in value. People are going to short Lenny, and he's already seeing his price skyrocket on places like Keep Trade Cut. So Goff at the 8-4, Derrick Henry at the 8-5. You got those late round running backs again. Hopkins at the 8-6. You get a league-winning wide receiver who, although he's a PED user and Nathan hates his guts, he's still going to score a ton of points. So great pick there at the 8-6, no matter what Nathan says. Daniel Jones at the 8-7, Dalvin at the 8-8. Again, Dalvin and Aaron Jones here. Aaron Jones at the 8-10, Mac at the 8-9.
Wait, can we go back to D-Hop?
This is another contender's dream, this area.
Can we just go back to D-Hop? No. We are going back to D-Hop. Shut up,
let's talk about DeAndre Hopkins.
Do you know how old Devontae Adams is, Nathan?
DeAndre Hopkins does not have the contract that Devontae Adams has. They're the same age. It is a completely different situation. And yeah.
Avery, how old is Devontae Adams?
I think he's 30.
How old is DeAndre Hopkins?
I think he's also 30.
Why are they going like 5 to 6 rounds apart in startups?
Because of the contract.
Nathan makes a good point.
You guys make contract arguments all the time. Why does Russell Wilson still have value? Contract. Why does Matt Stafford still have value? Contract. Why does Dak Prescott and Derek Carr still have some value? Contract.
Anyways, before I was rudely interrupted, Nathan made a good point. Devontae Adams is like the second highest paid receiver in the league, and DeAndre Hopkins currently is not.
Should they be going 5 full rounds apart?
No.
Probably not.
Absolutely not.
That's the point we're trying to make.
Smash DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins, I completely agree. I think he's a fine value here for a contender.
No, we know we get it. You don't like the pick, but
I'm fine with him going here. I like the value. He will produce next year because he's not going to fall off a cliff and put up 0 points a game. So again, he'll be fine.
We're obviously split on Hopkins, but Simon and I are telling you to smash draft.
We are not split on Hopkins. We all agree that he's a good value here.
It's okay. We're split on Hopkins, so moving on.
Mike Evans.
We all agree on
11. Hopkins. He's another great value. Getting Mike Evans at the turn of the 8-9, that's crazy. That's a really good value too. Kmet is nice here. I just took him for market value. Pollard, I'm obviously hoping he continues to produce the level he does. I think it's a pretty risky pick. I wish I would have taken Ridley here. But Ridley went at the next pick. Don't forget about Calvin Ridley being drafted in the 9th round. He's taking a year off of football because he bet against the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is always a good bet. But with Calvin Ridley, he's going to be. You look at what Trevor Lawrence did with Zay Jones, and now take Zay Jones and replace him with Calvin Ridley. I mean, you are looking at somebody who's probably going to be producing at an elite level for your fantasy team next year, and you get him in the 9th round. Thank you.
Yeah. Wait. What's the deal with his suspension though, Nathan?
Ridley's, it's indefinite.
Oh yeah. So
indefinite means you don't know when he's going to come back.
Okay. Well,
which is worse than a year.
I think he will be back next year, but that's just a hunch.
We do really hope. Yeah.
Yeah. AJ Dillon, Dameon Pierce, James Cook at the next 3 picks. Oh my gosh, I hate all 3 of these picks. They're not bad values here. They're just guys. So.
Yeah, especially AJ Dillon's just so unattractive to me at this point.
And Pierce, I love it.
We'll take our dub on AJ Dillon.
Wait until the Texans draft a running back. It's going to be the world is going to end. People who spent 23 firsts on Dameon Pierce.
Dameon Pierce is still better than Rashad White going a round and a half earlier. So
maybe I think White has a longer league life probably as a. But I don't know. I think you can make the argument that they're comparable, but. I'm more comfortable taking
Rashad White also has because doesn't he have better draft capital than Dameon Pierce? That could be the reason why he's going around ahead.
Yeah,
he has better team investment. He's in a better situation at the moment.
He's also not hurt.
He's a different type of back too.
They're both day 2 picks.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're different type of players though. Different skill sets. James Cook at the 9-5 is fine. And then we have the next rookie pick taken here, and that is going to be Michael Mayer. So tight end here, going after Cole Kmet, but before Dalton Schultz. I think he'd have to get a really good landing spot to justify this ADP. That's just me. I think with rookie tight ends, you can almost always get them just as cheap, if not cheaper, 2 or 3 years down the road and wait to see if they actually turn out instead of using a rookie pick on them in the first round. So that was the 112, by the way. All right, we got Schultz going here, and Njoku, and then Elijah Moore, sandwich in between them. Fine picks. The next 2 rookie picks went, and that was Zach Charbonnet and Devin A-Chain.
Yes,
Devon A-Chain. I didn't want you to correct me.
It's Devon A-Chain, yeah.
I thought it was a Kane.
Yeah, well, we've been saying his name
I'm like
wrong,
the king of mispronouncing names.
So, again, 2 rookie running backs there, probably better talent-wise than the guys at the end of last year is like James Cook and Dameon Pierce. I like these guys a lot better than those guys for sure, and even Rachaad White. Like, I mean, I think this running back class is just deeper.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Charbonnet pick was really good. He profiles better for a workhorse NFL role because A-Chain is like
workhouse in the middle of Work Street.
Workhouse. A-Chain's like 5'9". He's a bit undersized as well. BMI under 30, but man, he's. I mean, I don't know if you guys have watched, looked into him yet, watched this film, but he's got some burst, he's got some athleticism, and honestly, for such a small guy, he's got really good power.
Yeah.
I really like him. Yeah.
All right, let's skip through here and finish these last 4 rounds up and just kind of go over the highlights. Sutton at the 10-1. Yeah, okay. You got guys like Keenan Allen in the 10th round. Greg Dulcich is showing a lot of flash for a rookie tight end. So it's getting him as your tight end in the 10th round. He's not only producing a little bit now, but he's got a lot of upside. And then guys like Darren Waller who have done it but aren't showing it right at the moment, I think also good. Any guys you like from the 10th that you want to point out? Like Kamara is obviously there, and he could get suspended, so we just don't know.
I like Kamara there.
Okay.
The guys see the big old 27 and the fact that he may be on a different team next year, but in reality, I think he, with the exit of Sean Payton, I think he was just not utilized correctly in their offense this year, and it was kind of just a train wreck of a situation with the quarterback carousel going on there. Andy Dalton has been serviceable at best, and they're just not a great team. So I think he could be a decent asset next year, especially for a contender. You can buy him for pretty cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Lockett at the 11-1, you get a wide receiver 1 in the 11th round.
Yeah, and I view Lockett. I love getting Lockett later here, just like you guys kind of love where DeAndre Hopkins is going. Great value. I really see Hopkins and Lockett sort of in the same situation in terms of value, where the reason they aren't the reason there's such a far gap between the other old guys like Tyreek, Devontae Adams, Diggs, Kupp is because they don't have that long-term contract tied to a very reliable QB in Dynasty. So that's really the only knock on those two. We don't really know what's going to happen to them, but man, when they're on the field and they're producing at an elite level, and Lockett has finally found that consistency that he hasn't really ever had in the NFL, and this year he was a league winner, you thought, until he got hurt. So
running backs in these last 3 rounds, you've got Connor and Sanders and Pacheco going in the 11th. Montgomery, Fournette, Elliott, and then Brian Robinson, Khalil Herbert. So again, getting some hyper productive guys here late in these starter drafts.
James Conner's my favorite pick there.
Sky Moore is the only. So I can't filter right now by rookie wide receiver as in 2022, but he looks to me like he was the only rookie wide receiver inside like the top 2 rounds that really dropped significantly.
The one tied to Patrick
ADP.
Mahomes too. Yeah, Sky Moore is a great value at the 11-11. Like you're getting, it's just a great. So the best picks, obviously value wise, the wide receivers here. Peoples Jones at the 11-6. He's produced fairly well this season for what he is. Rondell is going into 11 still. And Sky Moore. Guys like Mechie and Tony, guys we aren't totally sure about, but. Still could be. And then solid guys like Josh Palmer and Tyler Boyd who have cemented roles into their elite offenses that are going to be able to, you're going to be able to stream them.
Nathan's raising his hand. He wants to say something.
I want to say one thing. James Conner is probably my favorite pick here in the 11th round. He's been on a PPR or on a per game basis. Yeah, in PPR. He has been running back 14 and he has fallen 5.5 rounds.
Yeah, he's
from last year to this year. His ADP.
He's a smash in the 11th round. I mean,
you're getting him in double-digit rounds. Yeah, when most of those guys are toss-ups.
Yeah, so. and he's on a good contract too. Like, I mean, you've got some security there. The Cardinals could draft a running back. James Conner's not going to go away though.
Yeah, I know Simon thinks they're going to get a running back.
Well, no, this was just a discussion on Rondell Moore versus James Conner. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, and then the other highlights here. Evan Ingram, obviously, he's like the tight end 3 or 4 or something. He's in the 12th round, so not a bad pick. That's almost essentially no risk. And then Trey McBride, Isaiah Likely, some younger tight ends here. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of variety in terms of what we've been able to come up with in the mock drafts. But again, the main takeaways from this, the rookie wide receivers going to maintain their value or increase for the most part. You've got to get those quarterbacks early, or you've got to take rookie picks to get your quarterbacks. And then taking those cemented elite wide receivers early allows you to take some elite productive running backs late because they're all falling down. So. Yeah, we're going to do a lot of these. We're going to do some more of these as the season goes on. We're going to keep you updated, try to help you win your startup drafts. We're going to be releasing some startup draft strategy videos to try to help you win all your startup drafts and give you some productive strategies to help you outthink some of your league mates, and especially the ones playing Dynasty for the first time. Like, as much as you want to welcome them to the community, you can win some money there. So we're going to be doing all kinds of videos and stuff like that. So that's going to do it for today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing a lot of these, bringing you the best and most accurate data that we possibly can. So subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video if you want today's ADP data that we've been referencing so much. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and then email the Dynasty domain at gmail.com. Give us your YouTube username. We'll send you over the ADP data for subscribing to us on YouTube. So as always, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you later.